What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, week 5 of the GPC League, where I am up against Josh Castillo, coach of the Texas Turtwig. So if you guys are excited, don't forget to leave a like down below. I would really appreciate it. As many likes as you want, because we are bringing some very spicy memes here.
So if you like it a little bit spicy,
which is going to be pretty interesting. So what we're going to do, as always, is we're going to run through what he's got, what we're going to be bringing to try and answer those threats, and then from there, obviously, go into the battle. So he's got, in terms of going from the fastest one down to the slowest, he's got Sneasel, Thundurus-T, Lucario, Mega Venusaur, Mesprit, Heatran, Clefable, Donphan, Lickilicky, and Gastrodon. So very sort of spooky squad. And I must admit, like, I looked at the match, and if you think about it, for example, we got Mega Lopunny. Mega Lopunny is checked by Mega Venusaur very well. Defensive Mesprit, if he brings it, but I'm expecting specially defensive. And also, you know, something like Scarf Lucario could be very spooky. And Clefable potentially was a standard set as well. So that was a really sad thing to actually have, like, a really good check to, you know, he's got a really good check to Mega Lopunny. Mainly Venusaur, because the return does like 30%, and it's really sad. So, I knew that Mega Lopunny, like, every time Mega Lopunny's out, Mega Venusaur could come in and basically just warm me to death from there. Landorus-T, Landorus-I, apologies. Sneasel can Icicle Crash, it can Ice Shard if it wants to. He's got the Mesprit, and Levitating Psychic types are the #1 way to check the Landorus, just because, like, you can't Earth Power on them, your Sludge Waves don't do much, and then if you've got Knockoff, they normally run Cold Berry to be able to check you from there. So he had, like, basically a lot of the best ways to check Landorus and Lopunny are all on one team. So my thoughts was, even if we lose this game, then later on, you know, there's going to be basically all of the checks and stuff are put into one team. So if later on, there's going to be less and less checks for everyone else to have for that core. So I'm happy to give up a loss for this one, to then have more people have less checks, if that makes sense. It's a little bit weird when I sort of say about it, but anyway, we are bringing some spicy memes. We have got the Abra with Focus Sash. So things I'm very spooked about is, first of all, Mega Venusaur is a very spooky mon, so having a Pokemon that can hit it very hard, like Psychic does about 50 to 60%, so that's pretty nice. So I can put a lot of pressure on him from there. I'm very scared of setup sweep, and most notably Calm Mind Clefable, so I wanted a way to be able to potentially cripple that, which is where the guard split comes in. So if it goes to Calm Mind, I go for the guard split. Because I'm negative SPDF with 0 IVs, I've got very low SPDF, so I'm actually going to really quite lower Clefable's SPDF, and when it tries to you know, get a good amount, you know, get some Calm Minds up, I'm going to be hitting it very hard in other ways, and its defense is going to be like halved pretty much, because we've got 35 defense here. So yeah, you basically halved Clefable's defense, and then I can come in with something like Latios and revenge it from there. So that was kind of the way to stop it. I also had Encore as well, if it wants to heal up, or he's got walls that want to heal up, like Gastrodon or Lickilicky, things like that. Thunder Waves helps stop Sneasel, it helps me with Mesprit, it helps me with Mega Venusaur in general, if it wants to try and switch in, but I don't think it's going to switch in. And also potentially Lucario as well, and force it to keep going for E-Speeds if it is that Swords Dance set. So that's going to be nice for us, and Psychic hits everything very hard. Well, not very hard, like relatively hard. It's surprising when it's, you know, with 105 special attack, it actually doesn't do too badly in terms of damage. So that's the set that we're going to be bringing a bit of memes there. Next up, we got the Landorus, a little bit more sort of return to reality with Sludge Wave, Earth Power, U-Turn, and Stealth Rock. So U-Turn, if you decide to bring the Mesprit, we can U-Turn on that, go out into something else to be able to check it. Stealth Rocks is nice because it helps check the Sneasel, the Thundurus-T, and pretty much that's about it. But he doesn't have much in terms of hazard removal. The Donphan is his only option, if I actually realize. Yeah, Donphan is his only option, so that's pretty nice for us. So if he decides not to bring it, you know, we're good to go. Basically, if we can get rocks up, we're going to be wearing them down and stuff from there. Now this, I would argue, is arguably a spicier meme than the Abra.
the aroma is a bit special.
And that is Power Up Punch, Last Resort Lopunny. So I was looking at the matchup, and as I said, Mega Venusaur walls me, Clefable potentially walls me, and stuff like that. So I was like, right, what is a way I can bait in a wall, and then I can Power Up Punch, and then our Last Resort, and and hit very hard. And I was like, I could go for Power Up Punch, like return, all of that good stuff. But I was like, no, actually, I'm going to go Power Up Punch Last Resort, because that is going to just literally blow things back. For example, defend like standard Clefable with 252 with 175 in defense. Easily O-code by a last resort. It does 105 to 120% to that set. So I knew as long as the Clefable wasn't unaware, then I can literally blow it back from there. Mega Venusaur, about 70 to 80% to a standard Mega Venusaur. So overall, I knew I will be able to break through the core and help wall break basically for the rest of my teams. That's really, really nice. Once the set's revealed though, it does get a little bit worse. But then if the Sneasel's out, I can still go and revenge kill, and he can either, you know, hit me with a Sneasel when I power up punch, and or he has to switch out and then something dies from there. Because basically, apart from maybe Heatran, but even Heatran max HP is 2 KO'd by the last resort. There isn't much that he can actually do to take this on. So it is an absolutely beautiful set. And if I do manage to eliminate his Scarfer, I just clean up basically with Lopunny from there. So that was a really, really fun set. And next up, we've got the Gouge with the Black Sludge. This guy's got a fairly good matchup as well, because what we can do is we can go on Clefables, we can go on Mega Venusaur, unless it's got EQ. And we just basically put a lot of pressure on his team, because with the coverage that we've got here, we can hit a lot of his team very, very hard. So that's nice. We've got Sludge Wave, just general hits things very hard. Dragon Pulse also hits a lot, a few things fairly hard. It gives us fairly neutral sort of coverage, which is pretty good. Focus Blast allows me to hit the Heatran and also the Lucario very hard. And finally, the Hidden Power Grass allows me to check Gastrodon. So we got max special attack there with max HP. Not much point speed creeping, because apart from maybe Gastrodon, which you'd have to still invest a reasonable amount of speed to outspeed my Dragouge, I'm pretty good to go from there. The Rotom was definitely one of the hardest sets to pick, because obviously Rotom's normally beaten by Gastrodon, but we've got a defensive set, but we haven't got recovery apart from the leftovers. It's a little bit shaky, this set. I must admit I wasn't 100% keen on it going in, but I couldn't see another way around it, because the Gastrodon was otherwise going to be a really big problem to my team. I've got Hidden Power Grass, Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, and Will-O-Wisp. So Will-O-Wisp allows me to burn stuff. I can burn things pretty freely, because I don't think that Heatran will be coming in. The Clefable wants to come in. I can Volt Switch out, go into Dragouge, and put pressure on that way. So that's kind of the set from there. And then finally, we've got a Latios set, which is Sub Calm Mind. I can Sub Calm Mind up on a few things. The Heatran, potentially the Donphan, depending on its set. Mega Venusaur, which is nice. Just basically depending on what's out. If the Gastrodon doesn't have Ice Beam, I'm good to go. If he just wants to run Scald and Earthquake, I'm pretty much good to go from there. So that was kind of the plan with the Latios. Lack of recovery, though, apart from leftovers, is a bit of a problem. But that was kind of, I couldn't fit recovery on that and still hit all of his team relatively hard from there. So that is the team from there. What we're going to be doing is now going over to the battle, and you can see exactly what happened from there. Okay, so we are at the replay, and as you can see, he decided to bring a lot of very big threats. The Sneasel's there, the Heatran's there, obviously the Lucario, which I'm anticipating I'd be Scarf or Swords Dance at this point. The Heatran I was anticipating to be Air Balloon, just because his whole team is grounded, and I don't see a way he can then take on any Earth powers and things like that. Mega Venusaur, obviously. Gastrodon, which is always a pain. Gastrodon's always a bit of a pain. And then finally the Clefable. So a lot of bulk and some spoopy offense as well. So I decided my best lead here was probably going to be my Landorus. I can put a lot of pressure on a decent amount of his team just from the get-go. So I thought that made the most amount of sense here. So I led off with Landorus, and he leads off with Gastrodon. So not a good lead for us. I'm just going to switch out into Rotom, as he does reveal he's got the Ice Beam. So that's really good information for us. I'm just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp here, and we're going to miss the Will-O-Wisp, as he gets a Toxic on us. Typical Will luck there. And he's going to switch out here, go into the Clefable, as I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp again, because obviously, second Will-O-Wisp is a bit obvious. I should have really switched there. But I do now go into my Dragouge, take the Moonblast, but I get crit. Oh goodness, so I do get a bit of recovery there. As he goes into Spicy Doggo, that's fine by me. I know I can take an Earth Power, and I'm just going to fire off a Focus Blast here and get some really nice damage. So the rocks do come out, and I do pop his balloon, so that's really, really nice. Landorus can now Earth Power as much as he wants to. Out comes Memesy the Gastrodon, really not doing a huge amount, which is a bit of a shame. But I know he can't Tox me, so he might have Earthquake or something like that. But I was like, oh, Scout, see what sort of spread he is. And he does look to be a very bulky, specially defensive set. So I know, oh, the burn would have been really nice right now, because just to wear this guy down, I could have just stayed in, kept going for those Hidden Power Grasses and stuff like that, and just basically put a load of pressure on him. He does switch out here now, go into Spicy Doggo, and I know I can take a hit because of calcing his spread, but we get crit. So, unfortunately, Dragouge goes down there, which is a real shame. And it would have been nice to have around, but unfortunately, the double crit kind of took us down from there. So I go into Lopunny, he goes into Lucario, basically confirming his Scarf, which is very bad for us. So he goes to close combat, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that does so much damage. I must admit, when I realized how much damage Scarf Lucario did, I very much underestimated. He pulls a really nice double hit. I'm just skipping ahead. So he pulled a really nice double out into Sneasel. I go into Landorus. Now, this was a really, really tricky play, because I knew he had Pursuit for the Latios, and I was like, if I switch out, I take a huge amount of damage from Pursuit. Or if I go into Rotom and he knocks off, I'm going to lose my item on Rotom, I've not got Recovery, and I might need that to check Lucario. So it's like, my gut says he's going to overpredict here, so I decided to stay in. And unfortunately, I did get my prediction wrong, and we lost the Landorus, which was really, really bad on our part. And on reflection was a bit too cheeky on I think, for me too, but I needed to try and get some momentum back after losing Dragouge and stuff like that. So I go back into Mega Lopunny and just fire off a Power Up Punch, as out comes the Venusaur, and Venusaur does not know what's coming to it. So we get the attack boost, he megas up here, we go for the last resort, and we do a huge amount of damage, 72%.
Yeah, boy.
Absolutely wrecking him. He has 0 switch instance now, and we take out the Mega Venusaur. Probably the first time a Mega Lopunny is taken out on Mega Venusaur 1v1. As unfortunately we have to sack off Rotom here, because this Lucario, this is max defensive Rotom, this is just Scarf Lucario. I definitely underestimated Lucario this match. It was a really, really big problem on my part. So I go into Abra here, just fire off a Psychic here, as he does go into Clefable. Now, I was trying to anticipate and work out what he's going to do, so I decided Guard Split was the best way to go, because I didn't have the best switch into a Moonblast. So I can now get some really nice damage off, and I can basically just guarantee to here, but he goes for Cosmic Power. But I've got the Encore here, so Abra's doing work. Abra's shutting down this Clefable, which is really nice, and now it's in range pretty much where, if I wanted to with Mega Lopunny, I could take it out once oh no, actually I could anyway, scratch that. But anyway, we're going to unfortunately have to sack off Abra here. It's not looking good for us at all, because we've got a very weakened Latios, which is going to be able to take a close combat from the Lucario. I just go for sub here on the Toxic, so I was like, okay, we might have a chance here. We've got a very, very slim chance. So I just go for Psyshock, and we take out Mimsy. And I was like, okay, we might bring this back. There's a good chance, you know, we might bring this back. So I go for Calm Mind here. It was a very, very difficult play, because I knew I wouldn't kill. So it was very difficult for me to know what to do here, because I could either I knew Psyshock wouldn't kill, and he could have just then recovered up, and then we were going to lose from there. So I thought my best bet was to go for the Calm Mind as he recovered up. Then I could go for Psyshock from there, but unfortunately it didn't really work out for us. So here I knew, unfortunately, with the amount of HP I'm at, I can't take a hit from Lucario. I'm going to have to try and be cheeky and go for a sub. It's literally my best play, because even after killing this guy, I'm not going to be able to get a kill from there. So he does just go for the Moonblast and bring us down from there. We can still take out the Clefable though, if I remember right. Yeah, we do take out the Clefable anyway, but it was a play we kind of had to make. But the Sneasel's going to come out, Pursuit Trap us, and unfortunately that is going to be GG, because he is Scarf on his Lucario. But it's only a 1-0 loss, so it wasn't actually too bad, especially it's really difficult to know whether that early game hacks made any difference. But yeah, as I said, it's a tricky one, because it would have impacted how we played. I'd have more to sack off if I needed to, another thing to switch into Lucario if I needed to. So it's a really, really hard one to know how much that early game hacks made a difference. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I do apologize we did not get the win on this one, but our memes worked, and if the memes work, that's the main thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.